low bar back squat. Now, this is different from the traditional back squat or high bar back squat that you might be used to. What is different about it is instead of the bar being placed on my upper trap right here, it's now resting along and above my rear delt. So by having the bar lower, it allows us to lift more weight, but also changes the movement slightly. Some really key things to keep in mind with this variation though, is your elbow and wrist, your elbow position during the movement. See, with high bar, we can sort of just relax and let the bar sit there. Whereas with low bar, we constantly need to keep the elbows up and back. If we let them drop and get lazy, the bar will roll down, put a lot of pressure on your wrist and potentially hurt your wrists. So this part is key. You've always got to keep your elbows up and back. So, you also find that you might want to go a little bit wider than your traditional grip depending on your shoulder flexibility. So, bar set up in the rack, shoulder level. I'm going to set my grip, make sure it's even. All right, I'm going to line myself up in the center. I'm then going to come underneath. And instead of the bar resting on my upper back, it's then going to come down and you're going to feel it resting above your rear delts. You're going to unrack the bar, step back. You're going to be slightly leaning forward. Elbows are going to be up and back in a really nice and tight position. I'm going to be in my squat stance, looking forward and coming down to a full squat. 1, 2, one more, 3, finished. Now, some things to keep in mind, elbows must stay up. Secondly, keeping the weight on your midfoot. So we want to be balanced. We don't want the pressure of the weight on our heels or on our toes. We want it right through the center of our foot. So think about pushing through your entire foot. This will ensure you're balanced. Maintaining good posture throughout the movement. A common issue some people will have is as they descend down to the squat, they'll overextend through their lower back. This is something we want to avoid. Instead, just think about maintaining a neutral spine and engaging your core, keeping your abs tight. We don't want this and we don't want that. We want just that neutral position. And lastly, just controlling your knees, making sure they're not going in or out excessively. Generally, whatever position your toes are in, your feet, your knees should be tracking in line with them. So if you've got straight feet, your knees are straight. If your toes are slightly out, your knees are slightly out. No sort of great degree of change should occur. If there's a small degree of change throughout the movement, that's okay. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Again, you just really want to make sure you keep those elbows up. That part is key. You'll know if you're in the correct position because you shouldn't feel a great deal of stress on your wrists. If you feel a great deal of stress on your wrists, one of two things is happening. 1, your elbows are dropping, or 2, you've put the bar below your rear delt. So remember, rear delt, squeeze back, creates a shelf for the bar. If it's going below that point, then the pressure is just straight up on your wrists. All right, other than that, pretty straightforward. You might find it a little bit more comfortable versus traditional high bar. And same sort of sequence. Oh, and with breathing and bracing, same idea as a normal back squat. Breathing at the top, hold the breath. As we descend, cool, holding the breath. As we come out of the hole, at about this point, we can then breathe out. Same sort of breathing. Just make sure you keep your abs tight and really bracing that core hard. Tight. Just like that.